Well, good afternoon, my fishing brethren. Thanks so much for joining us today. I just got back from the lake, and my dad and I fished Lake Conchas here in New Mexico, and Conchas, if you want to pronounce it correctly. I didn't film any, just out of respect for my dad. It's something that we do every year, kind of as a tradition, just to spend time together. And so I didn't film anything, but we caught a ton of fish, probably 50 to 75 fish. Not all big, but we caught fish. And so one of my main goals with this channel is, and I probably haven't articulated it very well because I started with the boat videos and it doesn't really lend itself to this, but what I really want to do is I want to encourage younger people to get into fishing. I've started volunteering here with our New Mexico Bass Association for high schoolers, and start taking high schoolers out in the boat and working with them and try to get them into tournament fishing. And you know, it's expensive, and I live in Albuquerque, and it's a lower income populace, if you will. People here struggle, just like they struggle everywhere else, and it takes a little bit to get into the sport. And so it takes people like myself and others that have been blessed with things, and blessed with a father that brought them up fishing, that taught them how to fish, and also I've been richly blessed with financial means to afford to be able to go. So I'm not wealthy by any means. You know, pastors, we're not paid just a whole lot. There's that old joke, the deacons were praying, and they wanted to make sure that their pastor was good and taken care of, and they were praying to God, and they said, Lord, you keep him humble, and we'll do our best to keep him poor. And I think that's kind of the way we view our pastors sometimes, but that's okay. That's not what we're in it for. But my goal is to get young people fishing, and so I've been blessed with some things. I want to hand that off to other people and really share those blessings with some other people. So I was thinking, whenever we were fishing this weekend, we caught a lot of smallmouth on two particular rigs that are really inexpensive, really cheap, but good producers. And not only that, they're easy to fish. You can buy, you remember that $25 spinning reel combo I talked about on my last video. You can take that reel and rod combination, you can fish these two techniques, and I can almost guarantee you're going to catch something, and you can catch some fish. So I'm going to go over that today with you. Hope you enjoy it. There's a little bit of modifications I'm going to make it just a little bit easier for the average fisherman, the weekend warrior, the guy who only gets out a couple of times a month if he's lucky. And hope you enjoy it. If you have any tips or comments for me, leave them in the comment section below, and I will make sure to try to employ those the best I can. So we're going to talk about two rigs today, the Mojo rig and the Jika rig, and so I'll show you those right now. Okay, so what I'm going to go over first is the Mojo rig. It's kind of like a Carolina rig, just a little bit of a finesse version. And so you have a split shot weight, just one, and you run that about 2 foot above your bait, and that is a hook just with a worm of your choice. And what I like to use is any kind of straight worm with very little action, and you want to pull it across like you would a minnow, and it's going to look really natural in the water. And so that particular worm is called a hot shot, and it's got a chartreuse end on it. I used this little guy, which is called a yum dinger. It's one of the small ones, and they really produced a lot of smallmouth fish for us. And it's a great rig. It's cheap. It's fun to fish. You don't have to have a lot of experience. You just throw it out, and basically you just reel it in. You could twitch it a little bit if you want, but you let it sink to the bottom, and then you just reel it in. If you want a little bit bigger bite, you can increase the size of your hook. This is just a 1/0 hook because we're catching pretty small fish. You can increase it to a 3 or a 4/0 hook and use a full-size Cinco or a full-size yum dinger or any kind of worm. So this works really well. When you get into these bigger sizes, though, you're probably going to want to increase your weight, and you're really going to be throwing a Carolina rig when you get into that size. And so these smaller sizes are really where it works the best. And I love this little rig. It's fun. It's real cheap. You can buy a bag of these small dingers for like $3. You know, your split shots you can get for what, $1, $2, and then a package of hooks, and you can have a lot of fun just catching them that way. And the great thing about rigging up this Texas style, weedless style, is your worm, especially these little ones, they just don't get tore up that much. And you can, whenever you use them, you can cut them down a little bit, and then you'll have a new place to put your hook because you reduce the length of it, and you can extend the time of your you can extend the life of your worm. It's a really cheap way to fish. So that is the Mojo rig, and you definitely want to check that out and throw that if you haven't thrown that before. Not only will that produce smallmouth, but also largemouth, and we caught some big fish on it too. So it's not just a small fish producer. Okay, guys, had to switch cameras, so hope it doesn't affect it too much. The next bait we're going to be talking about is a Jika rig, and what this is going to simulate is a crawfish or a bait fish feeding on the bottom. And what this does is it connects, I'm just going to leave that here so y'all can see it. What it does is it connects a weight to the bottom of your hook, and so it sits at an angle like that in the water. So what most people do is they use a split ring over here, like you find on the end of a crankbait, to connect these two. That's fine, but it takes a little bit of effort. It takes a little bit of practice to be able to really work those split rings pretty well. So what I have found to use that works a lot better, in my opinion, are these little snaps. And you can find those anywhere. They're really cheap and they're super easy. So let me put this together real quick and I'll show you. So of course your snap is going to connect to your hook right there, just the regular way that a snap does. But it also opens the other way. And if you open that side, sorry about my camera work. If you open that side, you can get your weight in there. And snap it back. And again, you know, if you're fishing with a kid or somebody who's inexperienced, that's going to be a whole lot easier for them to manage than a split ring. And anyway, I found this to be a lot better, and I like to use creature baits with this particular setup. You can use straight worms, you can use Cincos, you can use just about anything, but a creature bait or a craw, anything like that, these river bugs, they work really, really well. And when you hook that up, you know, that sits on the bottom, and they just kind of sit there and they float up. It looks really good in the water. You can use any kind of weight. You can use these little bass caster weights, or you can use these more finesse drop shot weights. Both of them work just as well. It's a great rig. It's pretty easy to do. And these clips, man, they just make it night and day different and easier to use. So like I said, if you got somebody that's young or inexperienced and they would struggle with a split ring, trying to get that on there, this they don't have to struggle with. It's pretty simple. It's straightforward. So those two rigs, the Mojo and the Jika rig, definitely you need to add to your arsenal if you're not using them already. Okay, guys, that's it. That's the two rigs that we used this weekend, and we caught fish on a lot of other things too. A Texas rig Cinco, which worked really well for us. But those two are different, and hopefully you learn something from those. And like I said, if you haven't fished them before, man, put those in your boat. They're fish catching dudes. Also, look around YouTube. There's a lot better videos than that one. Putting those two rigs together. There's some people out there that actually show you what it looks like in a pond or in a pool, and the action's fantastic, and you'll learn a little bit more how they look underwater. I don't have a pool, so I can't show you that. But check out some other videos. I know that Lunkers TV has one. And a couple others too. So better videos out there for the Mojo rig and the Jika rig. Make sure you check those out. Also, a couple of you have asked how the new boat ran, the Champion. It ran like a champion. It really ran well. 175 horse engine, 18.5 foot boat, 2 people, all of our gear. We got up to about 50, 52, I think, max speed. And so that's not bad. That's not bad. It needs a little bit of TLC. The engine does. It's got a couple of issues. It sputtered a time or two. But all in all, I was pretty happy with everything. I'm going to have to do a little bit of electrical work to get the live wells going and the aerators and all of that. But the lights worked. The trolling motor worked great. The motor ran well. It didn't leave us stranded. So all in all, really, really good experience, and definitely enjoyed getting the boat out on the water for the first time. And we'll have some tournaments coming up here within the next couple of weeks. So Anyway, hope you guys stick around, and we're coming up on 200 subscribers. When we get to 200 subscribers, we'll do another giveaway. I'm not sure what that'll be yet, so we kind of have our choice. We've got some homemade spinner baits we could do, along with some hair jigs. You know, put a big pile together, maybe, I don't know, 20 spinner baits and 10 hair jigs or something like that. Or we could do another rod and reel combo, or we could do a kids combo giveaway. So I'm not sure. Why don't you, if you have any ideas, put it down there in the comments, and we'll consider it, and we'll be giving some stuff away. So really excited to have you guys along. Channel's growing, so stick with us. God bless y'all. Have a great, safe afternoon, and we'll catch you next time.